I think it's pretty safe to say that I was never really the biggest fan of Drake. 10 years ago, when I was a music editor, I wrote a lot of critical things about the boy. Don't get me wrong, I respected the climb and the fact that this kid from Degrassi ended up doing these songs from everybody from JD Era and Trey Songz all the way to Lil Wayne and then becoming like this mega pop superstar. Cool. This was like 2012, 2013, nothing was the same era, right? But I had the website to run and it ran on traffic, which means that I had to take the other opinion on a lot of things, which means that I had to be pretty critical of Drake. And I'm going to be honest, he did deserve some of it. He could have done more for the city at the time. Not to say he hasn't done anything, not to say he hasn't put a ton of people on, but emotionally the whole time, my beef was the fact that it felt like Drake belonged to America. Meanwhile, I'm watching in Toronto as Toronto talent never got past the bouncer. This has changed in recent years with the fact that everybody is accessible to the whole audience now. There's no more gatekeepers. But that doesn't change the fact that at the time, I just wanted him to do more for the Torontonians, more for the weirdos. Obviously, this is before he signed Smiley and does every single with him. But ever since Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, I had no choice but to become a Drake stan. It's no longer about music. It's about identity, Canadian identity. I hate that it took this. I hate that it took a rap civil war for me to have to come to the defense of Drake. I also hate the fact that Drake is the last thing Canada has on the global front lines that is uniquely Canadian. And by that, I mean wholly Torontonian. And Toronto, it's the only place in Canada that matters anyway. Canada is not known for exporting culture. We export lumber, we export dairy, we export comedians who pretend they're from New York. But Drake was always the final boss, and supporting him is no longer a source of identity. It is a source of national pride. Listen, I get that some of you people, LeBron James, you like Not Like Us, but you have to understand it's a fascist anthem. It's the same kind of logic that they tell police cadets, that it's either them or us. You're us. And they're them. This binary tribalism of us versus them, it's the same structure that's used to justify creating borders and going to war. Also, the song's not that good. Like most LA music, it sounds like every other LA song, I'm sorry. But speaking of borders and war, it is interesting to think about why this is happening to Drake. Now, there's rumors that he was trying to buy back his catalog and he went to UFG with one offer and then Sony made him another offer. We will never know. Unless this lawsuit finishes out in full with all the disclosures, we will never know the full truth. But it is important to note that around the same time as Not Like Us started its little upward climb and Kendrick started beefing with Drake via Future, God, it really is like World War I. Anyway, around that same time, Drake and his longtime collaborator, Noah 40 Shabib, signed on to a petition headed by Mustafa the Poet, where global superstars wrote and said that this war needs to end. This was a year ago. It's only gotten worse. The genocide is over, guys. Palestine, kaput. But at the time, Drake did whatever he could, even if it was just signing his name to a thing. Now, I'm not saying that's why the industry came and blackballed him. I'm just saying the time is kind of funny. The problem is that we will never know the reason as to why everybody went against Drake at the same time. And that's what makes the whole thing feel so rotten. They don't like us. They don't like Canadians. They don't like people who are not like them. But I do know this. If you live in Canada and you're singing along to that song, you are a cuck. You are the they in this song. You're rooting against your own city just to feel closer to power. And that is incredibly corny. Take it from me, I know what corny is. So yeah, listen, I'm a Drake fan now. I don't care about the past. I don't even care that the current CEO of OVO once texted me saying, "You wish I got punched in the face a second time after I got into it with some XO goons because I reported on their sexual assault allegations." And that's probably a video for another time. Shout out to Win Butler. But yeah, I'm a Drake fan now. Not because he's perfect, he's certainly not, and not because he won, because he certainly didn't, or at least hasn't yet, but it's because the rest of the world told us to sit down, and he stood up. And that matters more than anything else he's done in his career. Aubrey, if you're watching, call me. I'm gonna get you to sign some Pokemon cards. We're gonna sell them for big money on eBay, bro. Trust me. You can do the Steve Aoki thing. Let's get it.